Mastering Lead Qualification, the Entrepreneur's Guide to Profitable Client Selection. Hey guys, Adrienne Green with Workogenics here, and I wanted to talk about what this lead qualification process is. You want to ensure that a potential client meets your standards prior to agreeing to work with them as a client. It's a mutual selection process. Both the business owner and the potential client want to make sure that the other is going to be a win-win for them. It's something that I mastered as a real estate agent, and so I'm going to share the secrets with you today in this video. Now, to really dive into the problem as it is, first let's talk about the fact. The truth is that it is unprofitable to take on some clients. And some clients will cost you more in time and money than you'll make on them. And so with our lead qualification process, we want to vet the client and make sure that we are only taking on clients that are profitable for us. To give you some examples, a client who isn't sufficiently motivated to buy or sell would be an example of a low quality client. In real estate, we would run into this a lot. It could be a wannabe investor who likes the idea of real estate but is really still too scared to pull the trigger. Or it could be a homeowner with a make-me-move price that is unrealistic and not related to the actual market value of their home. As another example, for a subscription-based service like Workogenics, we're looking for someone who will use the service and stay signed up for a long time. Another version for this for some businesses, a high-value client would be someone who's going to be a repeat client and use the business time and again. So first, let's talk about, with this lead qualification, three main ways that you're going to qualify the lead and determine if someone will be a good client. What is going to be in this lead qualification? The first thing you need in your lead qualification process is data. You need to keep track of key metrics for your clients and observe trends in who tends to be a great client. Then you can look for these traits in your initial lead qualification consult call with a potential client. For example, when I had my real estate team, my ideal investor clients were white-collar, college-educated professionals in high cost of living areas. These were the people who time and again were easy, profitable clients for me. They saw what a great value investing in my market was, and they had high motivation and ability to do so. Low value clients, and again, this is purely in an economic sense, this is not passing judgment on someone, is the investor clients who had very little financing and they needed aggressive funding or lending, such as hard money lending, and they needed a killer deal for the numbers to work. They really needed these unicorn deals that were very few and far between. And because it was such a high risk for them based on where their situation was, they were the first to cancel and walk away if anything came up during the inspection period. They were often the most stressed and nervous, and they could be great people, and I would appreciate their goals. And yet there would be times when we would be losing money working with clients like this. And if we had a client list entirely of this, the business wouldn't have worked. So we need to keep track of our data so we can know who are our most profitable clients and who are the clients we lose money on, so that we can then, in that lead qualification, determine if somebody is one of our most profitable clients. So second, what does our lead qualification process look like? Now that we know what we're going to do in it, what does it look like? The one thing to start with, I would say, how easy is it for someone to get your time and how much do they get? As I progressed and got better in my lead qualification, I went from a 1-hour initial consult call to a 25-minute initial consult call. Now, if someone seemed like a high quality lead, time permitting, I could extend that session if we both were available, or I could schedule a second follow-up call. But if I had a low value client, I was able to save time and move on with only a 25-minute investment rather than an hour-long investment. Another thing I did for these consult calls is, we have this idea of what our high quality client is now. How do we determine it? I would make a template or a script for these initial consult calls with the questions to determine what these people were like and if they were going to be a high quality client. And so they would allow me to evaluate what this potential client was like so I could make that determination. Now, another thing that was an important part of this process is your attitude. It changes the dynamic of that initial consult call when your potential client can sense that you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. It increases your perceived value, and it demonstrates that not everybody gets to do business with you. It can also really scare off time vampires or low quality clients who aren't serious, because they can see that you're not a people pleaser and you're not going to keep trying to sell to them if they're not going to buy. Some people, they just they like that dynamic. They like feeling like they're getting your time. And when you demonstrate that you're careful with your time, they just check out then before they've taken any of your time. So those are a few parts of the initial consult call that I would say are a huge part of that lead qualification process. And then let's say, well, what do you do next? You've had this really high quality consult call with a template where you've demonstrated that you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. And when you get to the end of this, what do you do next? Well, if it's a high value potential client, you move on to your next steps to continue the relationship with them. You give them an item of value, you schedule your next call, you start taking them on as a client, whatever that looks like. Now, if they're a low value potential client, you have a couple choices here. All right. One is that you could continue to date them and see if they develop into a high value client. Or your second choice is you part ways now. You're going to continue to date them or develop them and see if they become a high value client. That can be things like putting them in your email newsletter so that they'll become more educated and may become that high value client. That may be connecting them with someone who can develop them like coach or consultant, or it may be adding value without committing more personal time to them. For example, this video is here on YouTube, right? It could be that you have a YouTube channel, other resources, and you direct that person there so they can get educated and potentially become a high value client. The second choice is, again, parting ways, and that's stating that you don't think you'd be a good fit. And ideally in that situation, you offer them alternatives that would be a better fit for their specific needs. So that is what I would say the lead qualification process looks like. And this should help you as you get people interested in your service, identifying who's going to be a high quality lead that's going to be worth your time and help your business bring in money, and who may be a fabulous person but is not the right fit for your business and your business model, so that you can save the time on the front end and find them an opportunity that's a better fit for them and save your time for those who are a good fit for you. If you are an entrepreneur or business owner looking to 10x your business and a virtual assistant would be of help, that's what we do here at Workorgenics, and it's part of what allowed me to grow my business so much and why I'm such a big believer in it. We have all our information below if you'd like to schedule a consult call with us so we can qualify and see if you're a great lead for our business. Thank you so much.